Okay. This is going to be a bit of a different video that I have been thinking of doing for a little while now and haven't really had the means to do it. But now that I actually have background footage, as you should be seeing unless I fuck something up, yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a chill video of me just going over some of the wishlist things I have for Black Ops 6. Because I've said this on Twitter and things like that, I'm not too excited for it. It doesn't look that good. But I think it could be pretty good. And I want to try to keep that optimism, even though I'm going to be pessimistic. So I put together a three-part system, a three-part, just a little document here. This is going to be a pretty casual thing that I'm just going to go over, because I just want to have my thoughts out there in a succinct video. But, whoops, I hit the wrong button. I'm fucking, goddammit. Hit the wrong button on my browser. Alright, so I don't actually have too much for the campaign. The main thing I wanted to just, involve in the campaign was I don't want them to constantly keep using Mason, Woods, and Adler. It's very annoying. You're gonna hear my PS5 in the background probably. It's very annoying to constantly have the same characters show up without being new or whatever. I think Modern Warfare, the reboot series, did pretty well with that, especially having Price, Gaz, and whatever. They're kind of new interpretations of the characters. In Cold War, Mason, Woods, and Hudson were pretty much just the same characters as they were in Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, and it kind of just is annoying. So I would hope that they would use them as just small cameos, if anything, and kind of just leave it out for nothing else. Hold on. Okay. Oh, my audio file was fucking up for a minute. Uh-oh. I hope that doesn't cause any issues. I had to pause for a second. Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I hope for the campaign. I think Cold War's campaign was fine. I think the multiple choice thing is a little bit annoying. I think it was done better in a different game. Not Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 did not do it right. I don't even know. I think World War 2 is the one I'm thinking of that did it right, but I don't even remember if that's the correct case. So for multiplayer is probably the big issue. Cold War's multiplayer, in my opinion, was the worst multiplayer that we've gotten. Actually, I can't say the worst multiplayer. We did get Vanguard, but out of the last 5, it's the second worst. With MW being the top, obviously, and then MW2 and MW3 kind of just being in the middle area, then 2 and 3 just kind of switching around depending on the day, because I like both of them. But for the multiplayer, the main thing I want is just a good lineup of weapons that feel unique. I have a document of all the weapons from Cold War, just all back to back, and let's just go over some of these weapons here, okay? The XM4, the AK-47, the Krieg 6, the QBZ-83, the FFAR-1, the Groza, the FAR 83, the C58, the EM2, the Grav, and the Vargo 52. Out of all of these weapons, I can say that I felt a difference playing with them with 2 different weapons. The Groza and the EM2. The Groza, I can guarantee, felt different because it felt really fucking powerful for no goddamn reason. At least in multiplayer. And then the EM2 felt like it was supposed to be for a longer range in comparison to the rest of the weapons. Otherwise, I can't tell a fucking difference between them. You give me the weapons, I'll perform the exact same in every single way. I don't like the QBZ really that much, but that's just my personal opinion because I'm not a big bullpup fan. I'll play with the FFAR just fine. I don't have any issues with it. They don't feel any different, and I don't want that to happen again because that, Modern Warfare 3 has the issue a little bit. It has the issue of having guns that do feel the same, but in their defense, they're kind of just the same weapon with a different coat of paint essentially. I could say the Sidewinder and whatever kind of feel the same because they're legitimately the same thing. Well, not the same thing obviously. The Sidewinder's in .45 or 450 Bushmaster. Bushmaster? Hold up, I have that. Yeah, Bushmaster. It's just in .45, there are 450 Bushmaster. Because the MCW, which is the ACR, is just a Bushmaster ACR. They're both Bushmaster ACRs, but one is a different caliber. Anyways. Yeah, I just don't want them to feel the same. Like, if it's an AK-47 and AK-74, they kind of feel the same. That is understandable. That makes sense. I can accept that. If it's an M4 and AK-47, or the AK-74, I believe is what's in the game. I don't remember. I haven't seen the reveal trailer in a bit. I can not accept that. That's the same thing with the submachine guns. The submachine guns didn't feel any different except for the MAC-10 and the Tech-9, really. I guess the UGR felt different, but that's post-season release, so no one knows what that is. It's just there's also there's 11 assault rifles and 12 SMGs, and then there's 5 tactical rifles, 4 LMGs, 5 snipers, 5. Okay, in defense of Cold War, the secondaries did all feel unique, except for the melees, but it's just the primaries, which is what kind of people play the game for and feel the out most. Which is the issue there. Speaking of primaries and snipers specifically, we cannot have the meta be dominated by one fucking sniper the entire fucking goddamn lifespan of the game. The LW3 Tundra cannot be allowed to dominate the meta at all. It cannot be allowed. If it plays like MW, you can counter it. If it plays like Cold War, you're fucked. Unless you counter-snipe the people who are using it. As someone who, I believe... I could check my hours right now. I'll check the hours in the background and start my PS5 turn on, because I played in rest mode while I was looking at stuff. I'm going to check my multiplayer hours. I can guarantee every single multiplayer match, probably after 10 hours. No, not after 10 hours. After 5 hours. Was dominated by the LW3 Tundra and a certain SMG called the fucking what was it, the Bullfrog? Yeah, it's the Bullfrog, which is the PP19 Bison-2, or their interpretation of it. That's another thing I don't want. I don't want fake weapons. I'm not a fan of fake weapons. I never have been. Well, Wonder Weapons is the special case, but like, did anyone really, and I mean anyone really, care about the KSP-45? Originally, as far as I'm aware, it was supposed to be the UMP-45, which would have been ballin', but we got that. Let's see. I still have my notes open. Oh, a weapon I want, because I've wanted it in Modern Warfare 3, and we're probably not going to get it in the next season. The F and FAL. It's just one of my favorite weapons. It was... Yeah, I'd say it probably was my favorite weapon in MW 2019. I think so. Then here, nothing too anachronistic or futuristic. As I said, futuristic weapons I'm not a fan of, but also anachronistic. Like, there's a lot of weapons in Cold War. Like, I believe if you look at the IMFDB page, just look that up real fast. I believe almost every single weapon has some issue with it being anachronistic. Which anachronistic, if you don't know, means that the weapon has a modification or something like that that is taken from the future that is put on that weapon in that time period. Here, I can check my barracks right now for Cold War. Let's see. Where do I check that? Combat record. I played 4 days and 7 hours of the multiplayer. I can guarantee within that first day of playing the game, 100% can guarantee it was dominated by the LW3 Tundra. I know people might like be angry at me for bringing it up constantly, but according to this, I played 758 games, and I can guarantee there's about 100 of them that were not dominated by that fucking weapon. Yeah, but nothing too anachronistic or futuristic. I would really love to see reload or stage reloads come back. Like, I know Modern Warfare 3 has them, in quotes, but MW2 made you actually think about reloading and made you think about, you know, actually how to play the game. And then reload cancel, it's like, okay, I pull the magazine out of my weapon, and then I just quick swap, and I have the magazine back in the weapon. It just, it breaks immersion. And I much prefer games where I have to time my reloads properly, like Rainbow Six Siege, or MW2. That's one of the reasons why I like MW2 so much. Oh yeah, camos and attachments should also just be the same that they are in MW2 and MW3. They perfected the way the camo system worked in MW2, and then MW3, I mean, there's a little bit more levels that you have to get, but it still kept the same idea, and that was the perfect idea, and if the grind goes back to how it was in MW 2019, Cold War, and Vanguard, I don't think it will ever recover. Is that my last note? Oh, I also brought back During Seasons, just for multiplayer zombies. I would really like to see the return of Jackal and the other Perseus characters that we didn't get resolutions for at the end of Cold War. I think it would be a really good idea to just bring back some antagonists from that set and really just have them there. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna fucking PS5 back in the fucking rest mode. Because I hear Echoes of the Damned outside of my headphones. That's a really good song, by the way. That should come back. Speaking of zombies, that's pretty funny. From what I've seen from the zombies, especially from the Gobblegum machine, I'm not a fan. But it still can be redeemed, I feel. The first thing for zombies, it has to have no perk limit. It cannot have a perk limit. Having a 4 perk limit, or even it goes up to a 5 or a 6, like I think AEW has 5, is ridiculous, especially the fact that they're bringing Perkaholic back. I think that's incredibly disingenuous to what Cold War, Modern Warfare 3, and Vanguard set up for the entire Zombies franchise going forward in the Dark Aether franchise. And if they were to just go back to pay to win, like I know there's pay to win aspects in MW3, I'm not denying that, but however, you can still play the entire game and get every single thing in it without paying a single dime, except for buying the game. It's pretty. I feel like it's very disingenuous. And I'm not a fan of the Goblin. I never have been, and I wasn't a fan of Elixirs either in Black Ops 4. I mean, I played Black Ops 4 for a bit. I wasn't there when it came out or whatever, but still, I'm just not a fan. I would also, speaking of the way Cold War did it, I would also like to see the Cold War point system and the Cold War pack and ammo mod system. Even if we don't get upgradable like ammo mods and upgradable perks and things like that, I would still love to see that system return, just because it is clinically the best pack-a-punch we've seen in the entire series, going up from 1, 2, and 3, and you just easily be able to gather them. And then the ammo mod system, having to be able to, you're able to choose it instead of just getting it randomly, is very useful. It's entirely very useful, and that allows them to set up scenarios where you have like, oh yeah, on D Machina, for example, there's the 3 radio towers that you can use Deadwire for. If you didn't get Deadwire through Pack-a-Punch in Black Ops 3, for example, you're shit out of luck until you go and repack 5 times until you get it, or whatever, right? But you could just go to the machine, spend 2,000 points, get Deadwire on a weapon, and just go do the Easter egg. Same thing for getting Klaus's hands. You just get Brain Rot on your gun, you go to the room, hit a zombie, boom, you have it, then you can switch back to whatever you want. Especially with the Cold War point system, you get points ridiculously fast, so it was useful. The wands. I would love to see the wands return. I'm a very big fan of, especially Frenzied Guard. Oh my god, I love Frenzied Guard. It's probably my favorite perk from zombies. Like, it's not a perk, it's a field upgrade, but you know what I mean. I think it's my favorite field upgrade across the entire series, even in MW 2019. For other things for zombies, I would love to see the Mimic return. It's probably my favorite Cold War enemy, probably my favorite enemy across the zombies series in general. Like, obviously we're getting normal zombies. I'd like to see armored zombies return too in some form or fashion, but that's just for later rounds and whatever. Rampage Inducer also. Rampage Inducer should return. I don't personally use it, but I know it's a really good feature. I'd also love to see the Wretchlings, or the Hive Crawlers from MW3, return in some form or fashion, get their own round, whatever. I had a lot of talk in my Discord server. By a lot of talk, I mean it propped up in the announcements, and I disagree with it. I don't want them to bring back things like Mob of the Dead. I want them to try to make original maps, or mostly original, like D Machina. D Machina was the perfect remake of Nocturne Totem. Hang on one second. Yeah, it was the perfect remake of Nocturne Totem, and I really couldn't imagine another remake of Nocturne Totem, for example. Like, I couldn't imagine another D Machina type thing. They could do it. It could be good. I don't know. I'd much rather see just the Wonder Weapon return instead of having it be just a Mob of the Dead. We've already seen Mob of the Dead be remade in the canon in Dr. Tone in Blood of the Dead, and I like Blood of the Dead. If we were to get Mob Dead back, we would get Blood of the Dead back, but or at least I assume. But I'd just rather not have it. And then I have one final thing. During seasons, please bring back Outbreak. Please. Just for context, I have 4 days and like 7 hours in the multiplayer in Cold War. That is 1/4 of the bar graph. So I have played a shit ton of zombies, and a lot of that is on Outbreak, because Outbreak is really fun. It's a really just mind-numbing fun experience. And even if they don't put too much work into it, they just bring back all that stuff from Cold War, it would still be really good. Or bring back some stuff from MW3, for example. It would be really good. You could even use some of the events from Vanguard, from Army of the Dead, as John Rizzo coined it. And then also, I would love to see some dichotomy between Eddie and Maxis, or Samantha, during the seasons, at some point. Just have it just be there, even if it's in the background, even if it's like a few Intel things. By the way, they should bring back the Intel system, but I digress, because I doubt that will happen. I like the idea of having just it be in the background if it's not the central plot. I mean, if it is central, I don't know the central plot currently, but obviously because the game isn't out. But if it is that part of the central plot, then it would be really cool. That's just my opinion. I think that's it. I probably have more that I can talk about, but I'm not really thinking of anything off the top of my head. The main things is I'm very worried for it. I don't want it to be bad, because I feel like zombies would never recover. But I just don't know. Actually, I forgot. I had a take on Twitter. Okay. Alright, we're getting classic prestige. Get rid of that fucking now. Get rid of that now! Classic prestige is such a stupid idea. I understand people might not like the new prestige system, but I don't like losing everything, especially if it works how sometimes you can just get rid of all of your weapon levels and whatever. That's absolutely stupid. Gobblegums, yeah, I don't like them. Let's see. The dedicated crew. I'm being called. Give me 1 second. Okay. That's really accurate. I was trying to wrap up the video and all of a sudden I got called. Fucking stupid ass Guardian theme. Yeah, the dedicated crew. I'm not a fan. I've never have been a fan. I would much rather play zombies with my character not saying any words at all. Like, Cold War was probably the best because they just wouldn't say too much. I was never a fan of all of the talking and the that the fucking Primus and Ultimus do. I'm not a fan of it whatsoever. But I believe they said we can choose our own operator, so that's whatever. Omnidirectional movement. I talked about it. I think it looks a bit better than I thought it did from rewatching it when I first watched it, but I'm not too big of a fan. The auto lean part of that is really stupid. I fucking hate that, and I hope it's toggleable. I would much rather just be able to press L and R, or L1 and R1 while ADS to switch, like Rainbow Six Siege. And then the 5 attachment limits is bypassing that is dumb. I think that's it. Ooh! I just read something. I hope they bring back some of the wonder weapons from Cold War. Even if it's just like something like the CRBRS. The Cerberus is legit. You're probably seeing in the background footage at this point, because I know I played Bauer for the background footage of this video. I really like the CRBRS, especially the standard version of it. I think it's a really good wonder weapon, and I think it's probably the best idea for being able to get variants of the weapon without having to make 4 different versions of the weapon, like Die Maschine. I like Die Maschine though. I like all the Cold War maps. I like Forsaken, I like Die Maschine, I like Firebase Sea, and I like Toten, and I like all 8 Outbreak maps. I'm gonna get disproven that it's not 8 Outbreak maps, it is like 7. Whatever. I think that's. I can't think of anything else, and I'm gonna end this video before it gets too long. I'm in Audacity. I'm recording at 19 minutes 50 seconds currently, so I'm gonna end it here. But that's pretty much all my thoughts for Black Ops 6. Until we see more, I think we see zombies footage at COD Next, which is the end of the month, I believe, August 29th. So we'll really see. We might see more before. We might see more from the truthdies.com. But at this point, we just wait with bated breath until the beta and shit. So I'll see you guys later.